Jake Robertson, welcome to my podcast.
Pleasure to be here finally.
Mate, this is the first time we've met in person. I feel like I know you though.
Yeah, likewise, man. I've been listening to you on the radio since I was a young kid, and we've had a couple of chats over the years, and yeah, I don't know why I messaged you sometimes when I was down after some pretty big news that you kind of covered on your podcast. So yeah, it's awesome to finally be on myself.
Yeah, the big news you're talking about, that was your twin brother Zane and his doping ban in 2023. I had him on the podcast. I think it was like an international exclusive at the time, so it got picked up by media all over the world, and it was a heartbreaking chat. Like it was a conversation with a man who was clearly at the lowest point of his life, the lowest point someone can possibly be, and it's a rough podcast even to listen to now. But yeah, how was that for you at the time, being the twin brother?
Well, yeah, it was a pretty big deal. I mean, everything and the way he went about it. Yeah, so it's good we get this out of the way because I am Jake Robertson, and it's good that people understand that I'm not my brother. I don't live with my brother, and I have my wife and my son, and we have our family. But yeah, I mean, I had personally no idea that was coming until about 10 days maybe before the news, and Zane had been told that he was going to have, a week's notice before they announce the news, and he'll tell me when they're going to announce the news. But that never came, and it was a surprise to all of us when it got dropped. He told me the day before I was flying out to go and race the Lisbon half marathon, and I was freaking out, I was like, oh shit, because I've been a twin my whole life. I understood anything that one of us would do, we always get the blame almost. And I was like, this is our life story. We've been on so many documentaries. People are going to be saying, oh, of course he's on it too. And, it's, to be honest, it was, yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit.
You're not the same person, but yeah, I can't imagine how it was for you at the time because obviously, like you're angry because there's that guilt by association thing, which is completely unfair. But also, it's your fucking twin brother, and he's on my podcast talking about wanting to shoot himself in the head.
Yeah, so going past the automatic shock of it, I was, I'd seen his character change, and he was, partying a lot, and I was wondering why. And he said, I'm focusing on my studies now, and a lot of things that I'd already seen. I was wondering, why is this happening? And when he told me, I was shocked. And then when the news dropped, this is a story that people may say they understand, but it's completely unfair. So I'd been offered a huge Puma contract, and I was pushing my agent for those 10 days because I knew what was about to transpire was going to affect me, and I was running really well again, and I'd been offered a Puma contract and was only ready to sign, and I was kind of went inside and was celebrating with my wife, and the next morning at like 2 a.m. in the morning, I'm getting messages saying the news has dropped, and I'm going online and seeing, oh shit, it's actually happening. But I was supposed to be told from Zane that it was going to be announced, and it didn't get announced. And the next day I'm getting a call from my agent, and he's telling me Puma have retracted their offer. And this was a 4-year deal, enough money for me and my family to be comfortable, and shit, man. I knew your podcast would do this.
We made a joke before we started about the box of tissues being here. I wasn't thinking it was going to be. Geez, you guys do everything fast, don't you? You run fast, you break down.
Oh, man. That one still just gets me, you know.
Since the humour deal's been and gone, like, can you give an idea of figures, or is that inappropriate?
Let's say it's a lot of money in Kenya. And I would even be able to, we would be even able to survive here in New Zealand off it. It was a good deal, but due to like disclosure and I can't give that one away.
Because it's a rough sport to make a good living in, eh?
Yeah.
Like distance running, it just is. There's not the sort of endorsement opportunities that other sports necessarily have.
Yeah, so you have to be a top tier. Like you have to be performing, and you have to do it over a series of races. You can't just do it one off and expect, So yeah, I'm still answering your question because there's so much to talk about. But that transpiring, that happening to me, on the phone, I was breaking down with my agent and. I had to go inside and I flipped the switch and my son was dancing when I went inside, so I started dancing with him. And I was in my own head, I was like broken, but I had to be like Superman, For my son, he was dancing around the living room. He doesn't care, he doesn't know what's going on. So
it's perspective, eh?
And my wife knew there was something wrong. She could just tell by looking at me and everything, that was going on that day. She knew, but, then, of course, I'm also thinking about my brother and family's family, man. As much as this was hitting me and I'm feeling bad about myself, I was like, I'm not going to speak to Zane about me and my worries, what this is doing to me right now, because he knows. And my instant reaction for him was to just try and comfort him, get him through this, because I've seen Kenyan athletes try and commit suicide after such news hit them, and it's not uncommon. It's like, we put in so much. This is our life. Like, we put in so much to this to make it to that level, and then you get told your life has changed forever. So, I tried to be there for him as much as I could. I said, come round, man. Come round to our house if you ever need. Don't hesitate. And, then he got on your podcast, and that, was a day where I was on the phone to him earlier, and I was trying to just stop him doing anything, in the moment. And family's family, man. I got to read a few messages that were coming at the time from even New Zealand athletes, and I was like, come on, it's not the time for this.
A pile-on, yeah.
Like, someone like we knew growing up, it was our age group running around the same time. She messaged them, and it was kind of bringing me into this, saying you guys, and not you, Zane, but the message said you guys have won some seriously big races and made a name for yourself. And I said, now they're bringing me into this. So, it constantly affected me, and my main concern was my brother's life. So,
what's your relationship like now? Like, has it had a long-term impact on it?
That in particular, I guess so, but not really. It's just we're in different stages, different places in our lives. I'm a family man. I'm kind of the quiet guy. My brother's very outgoing, and a lot of people would get on with him. He's a fun guy, knows how to mix, drinks. He's, that guy. Life of the party. I'm kind of, indoors with my family.
Yeah, you're quite sort of shy and reserved, eh? So why did you want to do a podcast today?
Well, get my side of the story out on a lot of things, speak about life, where I'm at now, future, I'm trying to move on from this, and, as much as this has kind of affected me, I'd like to speak about future, and I'm finally in a more positive place where I feel like, I have a few things going for me, and, I want to speak about this before these things transpire, and I become who I'm going to be again. Yeah.
Brilliant. Do you think your best runs are ahead of you or behind you as we sit here today?
I flipped the switch a few weeks ago because I actually have a pending police academy application in. I signed up to join the New Zealand Police Force, and I'm I was thinking post-career running, what would I like to do? Where would I feel like I can make a difference and work that I'm interested in? I don't ever see myself working just a job that I'm, not passionate about. So I signed up for the police force, and I heard that, these applications can take a year or two even, so I signed up. But yeah, quite recently, I've been missing my family. They're back in Kenya. They had to leave. And I'm going back regardless because of my family. So I flipped a switch, and I got a call from my agent. He's talking about races again and saying, when are you going to be ready after your treatment here? And I said, you know what? I can be ready in September. I'm that guy, I flip a switch and I get ready real fast. Just discipline, focus, and the training, everything that happens, I can get fit really quick. So
there's so much to unpack in that one answer there. First of all, so New Zealand Police on hold for now, but maybe one day.
Yep.
Geez, you'd be a good foot soldier, wouldn't you?
Maybe one day. I'm actually hoping that more people will hear that I'm looking for work. Sport organisation in New Zealand. I am a runner, but I understand sport. So I can work in many lines of different sport to be useful to this country, but it doesn't really seem like a lot of federations or that are hiring ex-athletes without degrees in that. But, maybe in America, maybe in, if an opportunity pops up, maybe I'll end up over somewhere else.
Oh, something will, I'm sure. You've got so much wisdom to share. And another thing in that previous answer, you mentioned being back in New Zealand from your home in Kenya for treatment.
Yeah, so I knew that would come up. Got to give a shout out to South City Health in Hamilton because their treatment, it's helped me, and it was a pretty big scare. I mean, anything to do with cancer is it's a shock,
So you're living with cancer at the moment?
No, because it all got removed.
What was it? What sort?
So, yeah, I'm no doctor, man. I kind of tried to block my ears to, the melanoma or the other ones, the skin cancer treatments and all that. But they did make me very aware of what it was at the time. And, the small operation became infected, and not to my own doing, but this happens, and I had to postpone my trip 3 times. My family had to go back on the 20th of April, and I was left here to deal with the recovery process, which everybody's like, okay, it's it's on your shoulder, but you can't even walk normally. You can't swing your arm, and it was about 10 stitches. Yeah, not too bad. But.
You're right. Yeah, so the prognosis is good.
Yeah, so they got everything, and it's just about the recovering because the infection and the stitches ripped and tore a big hole, completely opened the wound again, and
You're right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to unpack today. I promise there's so much fun stuff to your story, which we'll get to. It's not all doom and gloom, right?
Yeah. So I'm no longer shaking, man. I'm good for it.
Yeah. Oh no, because your wife, by the way, you've mentioned her a couple of times, Maggie, one of the world's best runners, right?
Yeah,
phenomenal athlete.
Proudly now, like
a 2:18 marathon runner.
So yeah, I'm her husband. How we got together and all is a long story, but put it short, I training with her brothers before she ever came from high school and met her through running. And I saw she was driven and focused like me, and we just clicked, She actually told me she was not going to give me her number, wanted nothing to do with me when I asked for it.
Did you? Why?
Oh, she was so driven and focused, and she just believed, having a boyfriend is like a dream killer. And I believe the same, but I saw how she was. I've been watching for some time, so I kind of got shut down. And, to get shut down like that in Kenya, usually that's like, okay, now you get sour, you don't communicate anymore. But no, that wasn't me. I was like, okay, I understand you. We're cool. Went about my business, kept training, with them and saying good morning, shopping, morning training. And eventually she's like, well, this guy is different, And I said, it was like a month or two later. I was like, seems you're not going to give me your number. I'll give you mine. Ball's in your court, and I think it was like a week later she called. We just headed off from there. It was 2011, May 2011.
And when did you propose? You proposed straight after finishing a half marathon, eh?
Yeah, so... Yeah,
the clip's online, it's amazing. So you finished second to Sir Mo Farah?
Yeah, second to Sir Mo Farah, champion athlete, man.
One of the best there's ever been.
Multiple Olympic champion. Second to him, I'm not going to, be upset about it. It was
shame in that.
It was a great race for me, and I took him to the last couple 100 meters in that race, and it was a great performance for me.
So his winning time was, and yours was?
I'm pretty sure I ran 60:07 or 60:12 maybe, or something like this.
I bring that up because I feel like a lot of people listening to this or watching this will be familiar with the half marathon. They might know someone that's run one. They probably know that most people, they hope to break 2 hours for a half marathon, and you were right on 1 hour. And you've broken an hour before in the half marathon.
Yeah, so that race actually went out pretty slow, and I know my slowest half marathon is 60:12 seconds, so it could have been that one. We just closed the last 10K. Well, I pushed in front trying to drop them. Yeah, so, it was actually the first time I'd travelled to a race with my wife. My brother was always the lucky one. He was travelling to so many races with her, and finally I got to travel to a race with her, and she just was in my head in the last couple Ks when it was getting tough, and I was like, you know what? I don't know how she's finished up there because they set the woman off early, and I was like, when I find her at the finish, today's the day I'm going to propose. And I had no idea how big it was. I just knew it was like kind of a special time for us being at the same race together, and I asked the elite the organisation to go find her. They pulled her up. She was fourth in the women's race, and I was second. And they were like, "Oh, this is a big deal." I started to shake, thinking, "Oh, this is kind of a big deal." And I was pretty positive of her saying yes. So that wasn't the deal. She just was so nervous when she came out 'cause she had no idea what was happening. She thought I might be getting taken away with an ambulance or something. And yeah, she's actually pulling away when I'm holding her hand. She's leaning back. She was so nervous, and it's a great memory, man.
It's so special, eh? And the video footage is online. You can see Sir Mo Farah there, loitering in the background. It's really cool.
My brother was there too, man. He was fourth in the men's race, and he was hanging out. My agent was there, and I told them to come across because it was a special moment for us. So.
Yeah, that's cool. And you've still got the record for New Zealand's fastest ever marathon?
No, so that's one I'm after, man. My brother's time is, I think it's 7 seconds quicker than mine.
Have I got my information wrong? I've got 2018 New Zealand's fastest ever marathon in 2:08:26.
No, so that's my best marathon, 2:08:26. My brother's run 2:08:19.
Oh, so you broke Rod Dixon's long-standing record by 33 seconds. Then your brother broke your record.
Yep.
What an asshole. Who's better? Who's the better runner? Would you say yourself or your brother?
Oh man, that's such a controversial question now. But I'm gonna go say me. The amount of results I've had, top positions in races, consistent times, and maybe the better range was always Zane because he had 1,500 and 1 mile on his side. He'd run some pretty quick times there up to marathon. But for me, from 5,000 meters, 10,000, half, and marathon, I'd say I've been more consistent.
You guys are the fastest twins in the world, eh? Fastest twins that there's ever been.
I think so.
Yeah.
We actually we have a joint area record for the 10K road race, which is 27:28. He ran his in Berlin 10K. I think it was in 2015, and I ran mine in New Orleans in 2018. Same second, years apart, different conditions. I mean, it's pretty crazy. We ran the same exact second. So yeah, I'm actually planning my assault on the 10K, half, and marathon records right now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously through some poor decision making, which we've already discussed, he's sort of like spoiled his legacy or reputation a bit. But you look back on what you both achieved as family members, as brothers, as twins. You proud of it?
Yeah, I'm proud of what I do as well.
Yeah.
My brother's, back when he was racing and he'd go to a race. I get more nervous when people I know or really care about go to race, because I'm in control of what I do. But when it's my wife or my brother back, when he was racing, I'd get nervous and just say, please get a decent result, at least just a decent result. And he performed highly, I'd be, stoked. Really stoked for him. And I know what that does. I know for his life and everything at the time. And big results change lives. Yeah.
Why don't we go right back to the beginning, and then we'll track the story. We've covered off a lot already, but I'm keen to explore the early years in Hamilton, and then the decision for you and your brother to move to Kenya at 17, and how your parents allowed that, and how that all came about. But yeah, early years in Hamilton. What are your earliest sort of memories?
Well, growing up, I always had Zane there, and we were going to Hamilton West Kindergarten. My mother would sometimes work there. Great childhood memories of just playing, and it was always sport. The backyard, coming home from school, always cricket, football or something, always sport, ride the bike. It was never just sit down for too long, and, I think us both being there pushed one another more, and we just came up in sport. And school wasn't for me. I think bullying had a lot to do with why I started to dislike school more and more. Bullying from students, also teachers,
Really?
Yeah, I mean, teachers have their favourites, but it's difficult to say, but you when you feel like a teacher holds a grudge against you for no particular reason, or they see you as a bad kid, but you're trying your best. It's just difficult, and it's not like I'd ever push back, but when you have that image around you, it's hard to break it, I guess. Yeah.
Is it painful to reflect on some of the stuff? Does it sting?
It used to be a lot more,
Yeah.
but I've been through so much in the last years. I've kind of left that one behind. I don't feel about it anymore. I feel like I've broken a lot of bad feelings about that through success. And, I would right into high school. I had high school teachers calling me anorexic. And I was running like probably 100-mile weeks.
Wow.
I was eating so much. My mother was saying, "You boys are making this family broke."
With the grocery bill.
They called my mother. They called my athletic coach, my first athletic coach, and said, "These guys have to be anorexic." What? Our physique was shaping to the sport. Any sport has a physique that will suit towards the sport. We're running so many miles that our physiques were starting to shape towards the sport of distance running. And to get such, feedback from our coach, I got a call from your teacher saying you guys are anorexic. What? I was eating like a teenage boy plus some.
Were your parents together or had they broken up?
No, so my parents divorced when I was, I think, 11, 12. Yeah.
Yeah. What sort of impact did that have on you?
I don't know. I was a weird man by this stage. I heard a lot of fights. Like most nights, I'd go to sleep hearing fights. So, screaming every night. It's not an ideal environment for like a kid to grow up in. I feel like I went numb or something because I never showed that it affected me. I was just kind of ready for it. But yeah, probably had some role into why I was able to handle a lot of emotions the way I did and handle feelings the way I did. I could shut things out maybe a lot longer than normal people would.
Yeah, some people aren't well suited as a couple, but they're good as individuals. Yeah.
So, I mean, I understand it now that I'm a grown up, and it was better for both of them. And, it's sad at the time. But, for some people, maybe it is better for everybody.
Well, that must have been a rough time for your mum then, like raising two twin boys. Was she the primary caregiver?
So, yeah, we were more at our mother's house, but we would go to our father's house during some weekdays and every alternate weekend. So we did spend like joint care and time at both parents' house, and that was kind of cool at first. And, any time we felt like, okay, we had enough here, we'd move to the other place. Sometimes we'd have a fight and we're like, you know what, I'm going to the other place. And, I mean, yeah, that's... That's kind of it, but I'm not going to get into those.
Yeah. No, that's good. Well, why running? Why did you and your brother gravitate towards running?
So, yeah, here's the interesting thing. Like, running saved my life, man. I was like, bullied at school, like I said, and I was so talented, man. I was so talented as a kid. Like, me and my brother, we were both talented, and back into primary school, we would win every race, like first to second, by a long way. It would become into schools, going into Waikato district, still first and second, by a long way. Right up until high school. And, first and second and, going right through districts to then it would become North Island championships. And by this stage in high school, people started to train. I had no idea what training was. I was a skateboarder. In my mind at the time, I was going to the X Games. Like, that was my idea. Like,
the next Tony Hawk.
Yeah, so street skater, but, I was that guy. And, I had no idea what training was. My brother actually joined an athletic club, but he was just racing. He had no idea what training was. And, yeah, I went to North Islands, and it was a pretty rough time for me, and I just feel like I was a misfit, and, I was a quiet kid. I was starting to become more and more self-isolated, and I had one thing. I had drive, and I got my ass kicked at North Islands. And I ran a stupid race. I was running in socks because I'd got blisters from Waikato's, so I decided I was going to wear socks. I didn't have spikes or running shoes like to race with, so I just wore socks instead.
Why didn't you just go bare feet?
I was those blisters, man.
Oh, right.
I had those blisters still, so, and for one reason or another, I got my ass kicked, and, that feeling at that time, I was like, you know what? I hate this feeling. I'm going to be something.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it was 2004, and it was around the time of the Olympics. And I started watching track and field, and I watched, the distance races, and I was like inspired a little bit, But I was inspired by what I wanted to do, and I had no idea of training. I just started going out for a run as hard as I could, for as long as I could, every day. I came out, a month or two later into cross-country season, and I was unbeatable. That's when a club coach tried to recruit me, and he took us in and started showing us how to train, and I went to my first club championship, and I got a bronze medal in an age group that had a couple years on me. So I was competing against older kids, but I got a bronze medal in my first national championships.
Yeah. So you got a taste for it?
So yeah, that was a taste. I was like, well, next year I'm going to win the gold. And I was never stopping from there. I had no idea of World Youth Championships and all these things to come. But as soon as my coach saw that I was able to compete at that level, he started mentioning these things to me, and I said, I'm going. Next year I was selected for the World Youth Championship. 1 year of training, I was making national squads. And this is happening as a kid. So talent was obviously there, and that was 2005.
Your talent's only going to get you so far, though, eh? You've got to do the work, which you guys have most definitely done.
Yeah, so drive, passion, whatever want to call it. You got to have a work ethic. You can't buckle when things get hard. And 2006, I went to the World Junior Cross Country, and this was the changing point for me, because I came up with this crazy idea you're talking about. I wanted to go to the World Cross the following year, which was in Kenya. And I came up with this idea that, I'd met some of the Kenyans, and they were like, come across for training before the championship. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna. I was 16 at the time, and I went straight back home, and, I started speaking to my parents about it. They're like, it's an idea, but it'll fade, And my brother was like, he's not on ship yet, but, he never imagined he'd be going to the World Cross or something, so he thought it was just for that, but no, I had bigger ideas.
Yeah, because the place that you moved to in Kenya, Eton, is that how you say it?
Yeah, Eton.
Eton, spelled I-T-E-N. It's considered the home of distance running. They do camps there now where Europeans from all over the world go there and they train for a couple of weeks. But you guys were groundbreakers. No white dudes were going there at the time, right? Yeah.
So Eton always had those. I think it was just a few years before we went there. They had those 4 or 5 star hotels, like a couple of them. But still, nobody had recognised this place for what it was. Very few foreign athletes went through.
So when you tell your parents, your mum and your dad, that you want to move to Kenya at the age of 17, what do they say?
Well, I didn't tell them that because, then it would have been a definite no.
All right.
Yeah, so
I thought maybe they were reluctant at first, and then they just sort of softened to the idea, or they got sick, you wore them down, or
Yeah, so even Athletics New Zealand have life advisors, and they were going against the idea and saying, no, do not let them go early. You know, Africa's a dangerous place. Everybody has this idea that, you know, it's a place of crime, and, you know, I don't know if racism comes into it, but this idea needs to, like, stop. E10 is, like, probably one of the safest towns I've ever been in. You know, it's 70% of the town is runners, all trying to be a professional. You know, some of them maybe just trying to avoid farm work, but, you know, it's runners with the same idea. There's not much crime in E10. Hamilton's more dangerous. So, you know, it's how I came about. Like, I was going to the World Cross, and I'd been selected for the New Zealand team, so I was going to go anyway. It was just whether or not my parents would let me go sooner. And they knew if they said no, I was going to go and find my own money and do it without them. And that was not going to be in a way that I'd communicate well with them afterwards. They just knew I was doing it. So, you know, with their blessings, like, you know, I went. And they gave me one condition. They pretty much forced my brother on me. And, you know, he was selected at the time to go to the Oceania track and field champs. And he had to choose between coming with me or going there to compete for himself. He wasn't with the World Cross team. But he chose, I'm going to go. And away we went.
So you go there. How much money do you have? What's your plan? What's your plan when you get there?
So, yeah, here's the part of the story that most people don't know, is that we had a friend, Brooke Balachu, which is a New Zealand citizen, Ethiopian originally descent. He'd gone back to visit his father in Ethiopia. So we were going to Ethiopia first. And this was in, I think, late October 2006. And we stayed with him right up until New Year in Ethiopia. So we had like a pretty good safety net to begin with. He showed us the ropes around in Ethiopia. You know, it's a big city in Addis Ababa. But he was leaving and we were leaving to Kenya. He came back here and we hopped across the border on a flight. And 1st of January at about midnight 2007, we touched down in Kenya. My brother was actually like, hey bro, what do we do? As we're landing, I was like, you know what? We don't have phone numbers, we don't have anything. I know the place that these guys train, I know the name of it, that's all. So let's go get the bus, head out into the night, and go find these guys tomorrow. Worst case scenario, you know, we'll find a hotel for the night. So we got, out of the airport onto a bus, pitch black. If anyone knows like anything about Africa, but the dark and night is dark. At that time, there's no street lights. Kenya's a different place. It's so developed now. But back then, potholes all the way to Eldoret, some but so bad you'd hit the roof with your head. You know, on this bus, we travelled to Eldoret, 6 hours later we're arriving, early hours of the morning. We stopped, we got off, found a hotel for like a couple of hours sleep, got up, went to, asked for directions to a stage, which is a public transport, and went out to the area to find these athletes I knew. That was, So you
didn't have like a contact number or...
No.
And I suppose this was sort of pre-email as we know it. Like you didn't have any electronic devices or phones?
I had, we had cell phone.
Yeah.
Stay in touch with the parents and all that. Had enough cash, had a, credit card for, emergencies and all that. But, it was pretty scary at the time because, my brother was also leaning on me to make decisions, and I just, I was in luck because the first runner, we stopped on the side of the road. We're like, hey man, do you know Benjamin Lemo? Do you know? He's like, that's my uncle. Let me take you guys to him. So he took us down the road to this camp in the middle of the countryside. And they just finished their tea in the morning. They're like, oh, we're about to go out for some intervals on the hill. You want to join us? We're dressed in running gear. Like, yeah, sure. Straight into training. Yep. Let's do it.
And what's, describe to someone that's never been, like how difficult the altitude is.
Well, it's pretty tough to say, but you feel it so much on hills, and that's never going to change. Like, you'll feel it walking up hills. It's crazy. You find yourself panting. If you want to have a conversation with somebody, you're going to find yourself struggling to speak while you walk up hills, while you adjust, The fitter you get there, sure, but the hills never change. You feel it. Like, you can't breathe the same. I mean, we were young at the time, and it's one of the encouraging things for us. The whole time we knew we were young, and we were going to take this environment and develop, bigger lungs and, get a better cardio system to handle the sport.
It's amazing at that age, 17. Was it young 17 or late 17? Like, were you closer to 18?
Yeah, so I believe we turned 17 in Ethiopia.
Wow.
In November.
That's... I think you'll get to... How old's your son now?
My son's 3. He's turning 4 in July.
I reckon he'll get to the point where he's like 16, 17, and at that point you'll be like, what the fuck was I thinking? Like, it's crazy what you guys did. You just had this vision, this burning desire.
Yeah, I mean, I believe we've said it on a few documentaries that we're both involved in, but coming back here or bailing on the idea that we had to become successful before, coming back was, that was failing. And coming back here was worse to us than dying at the time because of how bad a feeling we had back here with all the bullying and everything, and people telling us you can't do it. It's it's cliche. Everybody says it. You can't do something, and you hear all these athletes talk about how people have always pushed that idea that at some point in their careers you can't do something, and that motivates them. Well, it does. It definitely does. Yeah.
Yeah, use your haters as motivators, as the saying goes.
Yeah, I mean, and, it comes to a point where you don't actually care what, they say to you anymore, but it's like, thank you. You don't believe I can do that? Use it.
Do you still, I mean, you've done so much, do you still feel like you got something to prove or not really?
Well, now it's more about me achieving what I want to achieve before, I end my career. I believe I still have, as many years as I want to have. I mean, look at Elliot. He's a lot older than me, and he's still going.
Eliud Kipchoge. Yeah. Do you do you know him?
Oh yeah, we
oh my God,
we good, bro. We good mates.
Really?
Now. Yeah.
So when you were, his name came to. By the way, he's my favourite athlete of all time. If he ever gets done for doping or anything, I'll be devastated.
Oh, he won't, man. That guy's
But when you talked before about being a young boy in Hamilton watching the 2004 Olympics, was he on the track then? Did he win the 5 or 10,000 metres?
So he was in the 2004 Olympics in Athens, and he was third. He'd won the World Championship the year before, so he was a big threat. But yeah, he got bumped back to third in the 5,000 there in Athens, and I actually met him my first day in Kenya. I'd never met him before, but because the camp that I first went to was full, they sent me down the road to another one. This had Elliot in, and he was one of the first guys to welcome us and say, "Come in," and let me make a phone call to the coach, see if the camp is full. And
Coach Patrick Sang?
Yep, Coach Patrick Sang, who said send them to Eldoret, back to where we, had stored our bags in the hotel. Come meet me in Eldoret. So yeah, met Patrick Sang day 2, the next day as well. But yeah, still had no place to stay, so I spent the first few nights in that hotel. Pretty comfortable, to be honest. Yeah, everyone thinks Kenya's, got nowhere to stay, man. It's got hotels, like, come on.
Oh, but surely not as nice as like the Novotel Tainui.
Like if you know the Hilton or these type of places, they have hotels of that standard. Yeah.
So, sorry, I just can't get over the fact that you're bros with Eliud Kipchoge. This is insane. Well, yeah. What's he like?
So,
because the Elliot Kipchoge that I know is just quiet and humble. Talks about the power of discipline and talks about him. Impossible is nothing and all that sort of stuff. But do you joke with him?
Yeah,
you clown around a bit.
Yeah, you can definitely. During workouts and stuff, when I was training with them, definitely would have a laugh and He's really uplifting, encouraging, and all the media and all the interviews that he's forced to give these days, and I say forced, but he out of his own generosity, he goes for it, and they ask him to preach about all this type of stuff over and over again, but he's genuinely that dude. Like he wants to inspire everybody in the world to be running, to be as healthy as possible. But inspire people to be the best they can be in any area of life. And he inspired me. Like the best story I have with Elliot for this is, I keep telling kids whenever I meet them, because they want to know about Elliot too. But this was in 2010 when I made a major breakthrough. I was training with full-time all track sessions under Patrick Sang, and I was starting to come up, but we were doing a workout of 15 by 400, and I was struggling, but I was finally holding with these guys. And Elliot, we did a set of 8, set of 5, and set of 2, and I held all the way through the set of 8, set of 5, and then we have a longer recovery before the set of 2, and now it's showtime. Like the set of 2 is flying fast, and Elliot said, "Jake, you're leading this one," and I was like, "Hey man, I don't know if I can cope. Like I don't want to mess up your guys' workout." And he's like, "Don't worry, I've seen you. You can do it." He's like, "Don't worry about that, Jake. You can do this. Like, you got it." I was like, "Hey, man." And he's like, no, there's no more time to think. You're in front. You're doing it. And he really was like, you got this. And he's like, "I'll follow you. You'll be right." And, I was hauling ass going through 200. And I'm like, oh, my God, I'm doing this. I'm on it. And then I'm entering the home straight, 100 meters to go. And 2 of these other guys in the group start sprinting past me, and I'm like thinking, "Oh man, I'm off the pace. I'm not going to hit." And I'm waiting for them all to pass me, but I'm like trying my best. And I crossed the line. I hit the 55 seconds, which maybe people should go out and try and hit 55 seconds at the track to know how hard it is. Yet alone it being number 14 of a workout.
Yeah, and at altitude. I can say, like, I've done a lot of running. I've even written a book about running. I've never broken 60 seconds for a 400 metre.
Yes. So, at the end of this, it was only those 2 guys that had passed me. And I looked around and I was like, "Elliot, hey, man." He's like, "Good job." I was like, hey, why didn't you pass me, man? He's like, you did the requirement. You hit the pace. And I was like, "But these other guys," he's like, "Don't worry about those other guys, man. You did the pace. You did what we were required to do, and that's training. You did a great job." And man, I was like so pumped up after it. I was like, "Man, I'm gonna have a great season. I can do this." Like number 15, I blew up. pretty bad. I wasn't able to maintain the pace on number 15, but full of encouragement, and it's that story that I take away, and I'm like, that's Elliot to the bone, you know.
Because anyone that's not really into running that's listening to this or watching this may not be familiar with who he is, but he's the GOAT, right? Like he's the greatest that's ever done the marathon.
Yeah, and he doesn't hold the current world record, but the multiple times he's broken his own marathon record, and you know, from 5,000, 10,000, the amount of influence he's had and production he's had inside and outside of running. You know, he's changed so many lives. He's given people jobs. He's that guy, man. He's he's a superstar, and I don't think anybody inside the running world doesn't respect what he's done for the sport.
I'm so excited. I'm going to take him on later this year at the Sydney Marathon.
Yeah, I know.
Bring it, Kipchoge.
I know, but my thought when I heard you were going to Sydney was, you know what, I'm gonna give him a shot when I get back to Kenya and see if at least he has time to meet you. But because I believe you met Patrick Zane?
Yes, yeah.
Was it in Boston?
Yeah, it was, yeah. I had a podcast with this American author called Sarah Gerhardt who shadowed Coach Zane around for a while and wrote a book about it called We Share the Sun. It's a great book. Yeah. So got to meet Patrick. Elliot, just huge fan. So to see, sorry, I know this is your podcast, but just a couple more on this. Yeah. So he still lives pretty simply, right? So he's got his own training camp. And he's there Monday to Friday, then goes home for the weekend with his family, or no? Yeah, so
the training camp is actually owned by his management. So his management is, global management. It's an agent who runs that management, and they've become so big that they have multiple agents working for that company. Their job is, organising these athletes' sporting careers. So they get them their races, they get them their shoe contracts, they organise the appearance fees, which race is best for them to achieve, number one, making money, and also making a profile for themselves to better their career as an athlete and, just become the best they can be. So that's the role of their management, and in Kenya you'll find managements have these training camps facilities. So Elliot stays out there with only athletes of that management, and every management is close knit. The athletes obviously train together, spend a lot of time together. So yeah, he's the role model. Very disciplined lifestyle out there, very simple. But that's the way he's always done it, and he's motivated to continue to do it. So, he spends time away from his family, and that's a big sacrifice for him. I'm sure he'd love to spend more time with his kids, but it's tough for him, I'm sure. But to be successful, that's the way he needs to do it to be successful, and he's still doing it.
Still doing it.
It takes discipline,
and that's one of his slogans. Like, there's freedom and discipline. I think that's the slogan. But I was lucky enough to be in Boston for the marathon in 2023, where he, in commas, choked. And I think it was still a top 5 finish and like 2:07 or something like that. And but he still, even though he dropped off the pace, and some are blaming the shoes or the weather conditions. He didn't DNF, like he just carried on and gave it everything he had until the finish, which I thought spoke volumes about the man.
I actually find that more inspiring personally, that he's known to win everything and everybody thought he'd win, and the fact that he didn't drop out, he took it like a man, finished, like that spoke to me. I was like, good on you, buddy. Like I saw him, how hurt he was at the finish and how he didn't feel good about his result. And I was like, that's the athlete in you. I know you're going to come back. But, me and Elliot, we got something else pretty big in common. And, I hate to say it, but, maybe it was the downfall of his career of being misfairly judged. You know, there was a whole lot surrounding Kelvin Kiptoom's death.
Oh, this is the he died in a car crash last year. He was the world record holder for the marathon.
Yeah, so elaborating that for everybody listening, Kelvin Kiptoom is the current world record holder. He came pretty much from nowhere to run a few marathons, getting quicker and quicker until he, broke the world record. And, of course, being in sport, everybody said Eliud and even Patrick Sang have to be involved. And this is, because of the way he died in a car crash and bringing their names into it, it's crazy how this sport works, man. Sport is sport still. At the end of the day, life and what we have to go through as professional athletes is crazy. And Elliot got accused of being somewhat putting a hit out on Kiptoom. And the amount of rumors that came around, and then people threatening his family's lives, man. Threatening to burn down his businesses that have given so many people jobs, and the threat on his life. He had to have security follow him 24/7, and I personally felt that because it had nothing to do with him, and it brought him down because he was so used to being this public figure inspiring the world, and I think what motivates him is inspiring other people. And now he wasn't feeling like that same guy that he was inspiring many. Instead, he's receiving hate to a whole different degree. And I received a hell of a lot of hate after my brother's doping violation. It just feels like it was similar situations, and for me, my running went down as well. I felt I became really depressed.
Well, it's an unwarranted distraction, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's it's uncalled for, and professional sport, we're always going to be in the eye line of the public, and you step a foot wrong or something gets accused on you. It will play a role one way or another, but it will definitely affect the athlete, negatively.
Knowing what you know now, would you go back to Kenya at the age of 17? With the benefit of hindsight, so you could go back in time and speak to 16-year-old Jake. Would you say don't do it, or would you say do it? Has it been a net positive experience? So I have this huge life story, and the amount of hardship that I've actually suffered. I don't think, I don't recall an athlete having to deal with all that I've had to deal with in my career, man. I've had to deal with a lot of extra bullshit that most don't. And if I went back, I can't say and this is me speaking now, because you only have enough patience in one lifetime to do that. There's no way in hell I could do it ever again. There's no way I couldn't suffer that much. I couldn't do it. I can't do it. And if I had to speak to my younger self, I'd say don't do it, but I'm not going to have any regrets. I should have gone for a scholarship in the States, and they were still calling while I was in Kenya suffering, but I took the route I did, and I got my wife and son to show for it, number one. And I can't have regrets of that. I have a family, man. It's everything. That's life, and that's everything, yeah. But when you say you were in Kenya suffering, what do you mean? Oh, man, let's say life isn't good when you don't have money and you don't have, a society where they understand you. You stay through such a crisis like election violence. You see death all around you. You suffer medical conditions like malaria, typhoid, sicknesses, that you didn't go
to get treatment because hospitals had abused you and tried to make money out of you. And, I almost died. I was 18, 19 years old. I almost died a few times just lying in bed, how sick I was. And, we went to bed on a Friday night, I think it was, and we woke up on Sunday. Both of me and my brother were sick at the same time. We woke up on Sunday only because one of us woke up. But that's pretty scary, man. You sleep for more than 24 hours, there's something wrong. So... Yeah.
Yes, I've heard stories about it. There was some YouTube documentary I watched, and you talk about the malaria, sleeping on concrete floors for a time, surviving on just bread with jam on.
Yeah, so
like you said before, the hotels are pretty good, but I feel like you're glossing over some of the gnarly, crunchy stuff that you guys went through.
Yeah, so once you're out of the hotel and we were in Kaptagat and we got everything stolen from us because the only camp that was having space at the time was a rundown camp, and a lot of the athletes there were just trying to avoid farm work. They were still trying to make it. Those guys stole everything from us until we had one pair of shoes, our phones went, our camera went. We basically had nothing left. And I ran into someone I'd met the year before in the World Cross, and he saved us. He told us, come to E10, I'm going to find you a place to stay. And that made us move from Kaptagat to E10. And, he's the world record holder for steeplechase. And, he's known as a hard man, really stubborn, and people say he's not a gentleman, but man, what he did for us, and I mean, there was times that he was hard on us too, and said, when we were speaking too much about training, he said, "Oh, that's nothing. You've done nothing." Just to make us wake up and realize, actually, we still got levels to go before we ever do what he's done.
Yeah.
As we moved to E10, he offered to buy us a mattress, and he bought us a mattress. He wanted us to ask for 2 mattresses. I was like, man, you're doing enough. We stayed quiet. We didn't ask for anything. So we ended up sleeping on the same mattress on a, concrete floor in a 9x9 room, single room, concrete cell. Has bars on the window, so it does feel like a jail cell. And we stayed there, and all these stories are so long because, one thing moves to another, because people will be like, how did you survive? Always, it kept moving, the ball kept rolling, and any time that we were at our lowest of lows, there was something positive to pick us up. Shaheen, he got injured, and that's when we survived on bread and jam from the local shop. Because, they weren't cooking, and we didn't have access to their cooking room anymore. And then, St. Patrick's picked us up, which was under Brother Colum. Had some great athletes. Commonwealth champion at the time, Augustin Chogi. A young David Radisha, 800-meter world record holder, He was in high school at the time, and to be part of such they pulled us to their camp, and to be part of such a developing group was where I learned a lot also. And the ball kept rolling.
Yeah, it's literally just putting one foot in front of the other, eh? Just keep moving.
Yeah, but it's never easy to get your ass kicked by so many athletes. When you thought you were pretty good, coming out of New Zealand, and
it's humbling.
It's humbling, but we was just so driven, and had self-belief that we're young, we're gonna make it. And at the time we were living together, but I believe it was 2009 that we started living more so apart. Yeah. So
Really, are you and your brother?
yeah,
Just sort of becoming individuals.
yeah. So we were growing and we were, fighting too much. Brothers fight, man. So he decided to go with a couple of his friends and rent a place, and I stayed where I was. And he'd come back to this place in the weekend, and we were training. Actually, he was more in Kaptigat again, and I was more in where we were. And I was starting to train with Kipchoge at the time, and at the track, and yeah, it was good for us to become men, spend time alone. But when we really fully separated, was after the World Cross in Spain. I think that was in 2010, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, no, 2011 March. And he moved to Ethiopia, completely different country. Went to chase a girl. To be fair, he won. He got a girlfriend out of it. And I stayed put in E10, and I got with Maggie.
Did your parents have any idea how bleak it was? Like the malaria, coming close to death, surviving on jam sandwiches?
Nah, man.
Did you not tell them?
We're not going to tell them. Nah.
Because they would have made you come home, or
yeah. So,
or they would have been concerned.
Yeah, people have this idea that our parents were not good. No, they were good to us. Any time we were in struggles, or any time we needed to fly to Ethiopia or go across the border to Uganda to renew our visa, they would support us with some cash, and we would get it done. But we were not going to complain to them, even through election violence, all the stuff that we got to see, or death surrounding us. It's we were not going to tell them how it was, and we were never the target. So that's all we told them. Hey, as bad as things are, there's no power in E10. Power went off for 2 weeks. Couldn't charge a cell phone, so the last phone call was, hey, we're going to be okay, but know that we're not going to be able to charge a cell phone, and we're not going to be able to speak. So whatever you're seeing on the news, and it was worldwide, as bad as it looks, know that we're going to be okay. The police have been taking all foreigners, the few that were there, to the airports, flying everybody out. Me and Zane, we were sound. We were just we're not going anywhere.
Why?
We were crazy, man. We wanted to make it. We were so driven, and we just believed that being there, we were going to make it as pros. We were going to, do what we set out to do. And there was no backing down. No matter what the challenge, we were going to make it. Yeah.
You've talked about the election violence and the violence in the street, and I've heard about a thing called necklacing. What's necklacing?
Oh, necklacing. I actually found out what that was when somebody threatened to necklace my brother, which is apparently putting tires around you, like rubber tires, car tires, tractor tires, whatever, and burning you alive. So after my brother spoke out at the 2016 Rio Olympics about how doping is involved in the sport, and particularly, there was a lot surrounding Kenya at the time. Some Kenyan media journalists, took to it and threatened to necklace him. Said, you should be proud of Kenya because you've been here and had success through here. And I knew it was not good because even I felt like the IAAF and all the, everything surrounding our sport was already in disarray. It was you are bringing more disrepute to the sport. It doesn't need more negativity. But I was I know he's trying to do something good, but I think he was maybe pushed to say something by media, and if anyone knows my brother, he got no filter, so he said something.
Yeah, that's an alarming threat, though. Even if it's just like an empty threat, like the threat of necklacing, it's terrifying and quite concerning.
Yeah, I mean, any death threat, and you're in a foreign land still with, you know, it is. So, yeah, I was on edge after that. It's pretty much why I kind of got off Facebook or got off some things at the time. Yeah.
Did your brother have a point then? Like, was performance-enhancing drugs rife in the sport at that point?
So news had just been kind of broken about Kenya and being this huge, having like a huge doping problem, and I was still naive to it. And everybody's going to be like, what, how? You lived there. I had never seen or heard of anything until that point of Kenya being like as bad as it was. And then I started to look back in hindsight and see things and think of things differently. And I'm starting to become so negative that I realized, like, hey man, it doesn't change anything. You're still going to have to go and compete against these guys. And there were so many foreign athletes traveling through E10 at the time, like national German teams, Mo Farah, national British teams, you know, and we would all talk about it. I'd see these guys, you know, I'd train with Mo Farah, I'd go and have a conversation with him about it. And yeah, I mean, we spoke so much about it, to the point where I was like, you know what? I came to this, I was like, I want to be proud of what I do. I'm going to continue what I can do. And I believe I can compete with them still and beat them. And it wasn't until, a few years on where a professor from the UK saved my career that he really made me genuinely believe that, because I was speaking a high game, but in the back of your head as an athlete, it's tough, man.
How did the professor do that?
I mean, well, I was injured for almost 2 years, and everybody kept treating my calf. This professor saved my career. He scanned my back. He gave me my first epidural into the L4, L5 bulge in my spine, and yeah, it's instantly he gave me a prehab and rehab program, and he said, you know what, you're going to have to do this every day of your life to be able to run or train at the level that you do and compete. And even post-career, you'll have to do it just to be normal. Mm-hmm. And at the time, it sucked, and I was like in disbelief, you know, but I was like, what else am I going to do? So I gave it a chance. And he also was preaching to me at the time, if you do this, you're going to be a part of Breaking 2, you're going to be a part of the sub-2-hour marathon thing, and you know what, you're going to be very successful. And I was like, had the conversation about drugs with him, and he encouraged me that drugs only speed up the process to get to your highest level, which, to be honest, I still don't believe. I still believe they make you a hell of a lot better. There's some freaky performances out there, but yeah, I mean, he made me believe that I can compete with them. And because of that self-belief and the training that he had me now doing, and it changed my perspective. I was no longer just waking up in the morning going for my runs out the door. I was waking up doing half an hour, 45 minutes of pre-run routine on a foam roller, stretching, activation for all the muscles. And that level of professionalism went up like tenfold. It changed me. And instantaneously I had results. And, I hadn't made any money in my career substantially to any point. But that year that he took over, and I made the decision, I'm going all in like this. I have to do it. I made more money in the first 2 races under him in my whole career.
Wow.
To that point.
Like prize money, or is it appearance money? Yeah. Because can you explain like how that works? Like you mentioned the Puma deal earlier before, which fell through your fingers. But yeah, how does like a really, really good long distance athlete make money?
Well, so yeah, number one, it's if you sign with a shoe company, that's like, that's your base salary. That's like any other job in the world, And obviously you sign with that brand. You're not allowed to wear competing companies. You wear those shoes. You promote them on social media, and you run and you perform to the best that you can with that company, wearing only that brand. They give you a base salary. Now, there may be bonuses, rollovers for the years. If you perform well in a race, you may get added salary to the remainder years of your contract. That's number one. So that's like the biggest safety net for us athletes. Now, number two is, the competitions we go to. Many times we have to look into so many factors, whether it be, is it just a money race? Are we going there to collect appearance fee? Because people don't understand this, is we get our hotel and transport, like flights, all paid. We go there, but as a safety net and respect from the race to us to come and perform, we get an appearance fee if we are a big athlete with a big profile that will bring interest to their event for people to watch. So the bigger the name, the bigger the appearance fee.
So, for example, the Sydney Marathon, this year it's the first time it's a world marathon major. Eliud Kipchoge's going there, so they might be paying him like a couple of 100,000, $500,000.
Yep, for sure. Him being a big name and the GOAT of our sport, he would probably get a couple of $100,000 US just to show up. Also, to these appearance fees, if you DNF, which means you don't finish, you'll get your appearance fee slashed in half, 50%. So you only get 50%, but you still get something for your time, because 3 months preparation, all that training you put in, you might reach 35K and have to stop because you get injured. You're not going to be able to race another marathon in a week's time. You're not going to be able to race another marathon in a month's time. So to come away with a little bit of money from it still is like, the safety net. So I call like the appearance fees a safety net. Some people may make a decision like I have had to and go to a race that was not paying me any appearance fee, but we believed in ourselves so hard, like that I would perform to make it worthwhile. I've travelled to a race, upgraded myself to business class so I'd get there. It was a long travel to Houston, and I upgraded myself to business class so I could sleep on the flight and get there in 100% condition, not as jet lagged. And I was looking at the prize money and I was like, you know what? If I place in the top 3, I'll make enough money to cover that bill, which my agent was covering for me, and then also make some money. And I won the race. And, that was a risk I was willing to take because I backed myself. I was in the best shape of my life. Yeah. But, that's making money. And also, racing for prize money. Some races have more than others.
So to get to that level, what does the training look like? Like an average training week when you're, say, deep into like a marathon cycle? Like what does a really big week look like? You guys have shared a lot on social media. You don't mess around when you're training, do you? Like I don't see a lot of watches. There's not an AirPod in sight. Like you're not clowning around.
No, so hard days are very hard and very serious. You do get nervous. The night before a hard training, most athletes actually struggle to sleep. It's like pre-race almost. You're getting that nervousness, that tension, and it's like dress rehearsal before the rodeo, Like you get a little bit of that when you're going to join these big groups and you have that hard workout. You know what you're doing. And, you know, I like to manifest, like, sometimes, and I always tell myself it's go time in the morning, like, and get some. It's time to get some. You have to, as an athlete, to do what you do in training. Those hard days, funnily enough, I enjoy. I hate the easy days because I'm trying so hard to recover from those hard days. It's so much pain, so much like that we go through on those easy days, and you just still have to go out there and do it. An easy day might be 20k run in the morning, and that's like what?
And what sort of pace are we talking?
Oh, so for me, it can be anywhere from a 4:00 average to 4:18, 4:20 average. That's an easy day. Yeah, rolling hills, altitude, all that to the mix, you know. But our hard days may be something like a 40k long run with a 3:12 average.
Oh my God.
So, you know, you're running a marathon at, a 2:16 kind of, 2:15 pace at altitude, you know.
At altitude and on sort of, what surface are you running on? It looks like sort of clay or dirt.
Yeah, so for the hard trainings, a lot of the time these days we'll go to the tarmac road, because it used to be, this famous road used to be like a red soil, dirt. But they tarmacked it now, you know, Kenya's
progressive.
Yeah, it's progressing. Yeah. So, you know, with the shoe technology, we just put on our, you know, races. They save us from the impact, and yeah, we obviously training times got faster.
Incredible. What's your relationship like with Athletics New Zealand and High Performance Sport New Zealand? I feel like they sort of shunned you guys a bit. Did they? Well, have you been unfairly treated by them? Rightfully
so. I mean, for my brother.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. I mean,
since the ban, yeah.
But for me,
I thought. By the way, I think it's worth pointing out in the podcast I did with him. I think he said the duty of care from them had been pretty good at that point. Maybe that was in the podcast, or maybe it was a message to me afterwards. I don't think he complained about how they handled the fallout from his doping ban.
See, there was somebody who came out to Kenya, and I do think that maybe Athletics New Zealand had some role to play with that. I had no idea at the time, but looking back, I think maybe he was to help with, you know, his job was to help with mental health, but I had no idea he was there for Zane. From my perspective, like, following the announcement, I have no idea if they helped him or not. I think they just pulled out. I don't think they helped him post, which was the worst time.
Yeah.
I feel, and I'm not shying away from this, I feel abused by them because they did not tell me about this. I had taken a trip with my family that year. I was walking around the headquarters in Auckland with my wife and son and my mother, and I had no idea my brother was being investigated. And it is the IAAF rules that they're not supposed to, but they should have known this was going to affect me. And when the news did drop, they did not even release a statement saying this is for Zane Robertson. Make no mistake, Jake Robertson is not involved with this. They knew that it was going to affect me like it was me getting banned too, but they did not, you know, defend me at all. They could have released to the media saying this has nothing to do with Jake Robertson, at very least, but they didn't. And I feel like, you know, I feel pretty bad, some kind of way about them. They've never reached out to me ever since.
Yeah, what about other stuff before that? Like Olympic selection and things like that?
To that point, they've been pretty good to me.
Yeah.
There was, you know, they've always got new people coming in and out of office, and the ones who were involved at the time, an Australian man, he was really good to me.
Yeah.
He selected me for the teams because, you know, I'd qualified.
Mm.
And they'd try and support me in ways that they could, being so far away. You know, it's tough, like, but I missed the Olympics going back right to 2012 London for one reason or another. Japan was COVID. I got COVID, so I couldn't go. And that's probably the worst one for me. The others, I got injured. Rio, I was injured.
Yeah.
That one sucked. My brother went and performed pretty well. But yeah, it's selection policy and everything up to that day, up until my brother's violation, I never had any problem with them.
Yeah. So what do they base it on? So you have to hit the qualifying times and then they just need to work out if there's a chance that you'll perform well or be competitive? How does it work?
Yeah, so now it's pretty ridiculous. The outright qualifying time is, I think it's 2.5 minutes quicker than the New Zealand record. So to hit that outright is pretty crazy. I still believe I can run that for the marathon, 2:06, I think it is now. But yeah, it's tough. And if you're not going to do it that way, then you need to qualify through points. IAAF is basically the World Athletics Federation, and they're trying to make people compete more frequently. It shouldn't go into the marathon sport because marathoning is not like sprinting, or that you can sprint, you know, races every week or a couple of times a week. You know, we only get the chance maybe to do 2 marathons in a year. And if we fail in one, which is very likely, there's 42.2k for something to go wrong. And it can go wrong, like, for so many reasons. But, yeah, to try and make us compete more frequently is the wrong idea, and this point system is actually a bad idea for our sport, I believe. And Athletics New Zealand, they kind of have to go with that criteria for selection now. And, yeah, I mean, government funding-wise, I don't think they have things going their way, so it's not all on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but it become clear to me in this conversation today just the impact that your brother's actions have had on you. It's it's devastating.
Yeah, and you know, it's taken me a couple years, and my performance has definitely dropped due to how emotionally and mentally, you know, I suffered, man. Like I was in a really, really bad state, and you know, if there was a book or something, I'd probably release a couple of, you know, near bad situations I got myself into post that. But yeah, I was.
Like what? Do you want to elaborate?
Man, you're gonna take me to that place again. Oh man, I'd rather not.
Okay. Because
people will judge me for that, man. But
people will judge you regardless. But it's no. Yeah, we don't have to go there. But I just think it's good to share, because it just goes to show that the impact that this has had on you, even though it had absolutely nothing to do with you.
Yeah,
I've seen that a lot on this podcast. Like, shit things happen to good people.
Yeah, so I do. I have a family of my own, and it always came back to that. So I'd like to think of this like my son saved me. And I mean, people are going to say or whatever, that I shouldn't have even got to that state, but I did. And it's hard because, I was suffering like a lot of things as well, health conditions and all this brought on. But yeah, I mean, feeling like you got no way forward. Your wife's just come back from maternity leave, and she doesn't have a running contract, and how's your family going to survive? You got no contract, you're not making money anymore. So instead of counting your blessings, you always start to count, as a man, as a father, you're supposed to provide for your family, and that really got to me, man. Beyond anything. I was like stuck. Races wouldn't have me. I'd won these races in 2018. Anything to do with the Boston Marathon community, like that they will let you come to the like races, they won't have me still. A famous Peachtree road race in Atlanta, they wouldn't have me year one. I was getting like frustrated. My agent was calling me saying, they say your name's tainted. And, you know, to be fair, Peachtree had me back year two and they said, sorry, man. At the time, it was just too hard to have you, but we really are happy to have you back. And I forgive them fully. They're awesome and their race is awesome. But, you know, there's a lot of races that still say they can't have me. And I'm, you know, not able to go to where I want to go to and compete for money. So I was stuck. I couldn't perform. I was in a bad state, man. So, yeah, I you know.
Yes, I get that. Seems like a hopeless situation. And anyone that hasn't been in that sort of state, I wouldn't expect them to understand, but anyone that has will empathise with you and understand what you're talking about. You know, if yesterday was a bad day, the day before was a bad day, the day before that was a bad day, sometimes you think, well, tomorrow's going to be more of the same. Like, tomorrow's not going to be any different. And it seems like a hopeless situation that you can find yourself in. That's just, that's mental health, eh?
Yeah, it's I think all our professional athletes go through some bad stages at some point. And it's just, you know, it's not only part to do with the sport, but how much pressure the public put on us, and then how much hate you can receive at points. Like, I just finished watching, you know, Netflix series on David Beckham. Wow, man, what he had to go through. Like, all of England, all of the UK chanting, you know, and people stringing up.
Oh, burning effigies. Yeah.
Like, stringing up, you know, hanging dolls with the Beckham jersey, like he deserves to be hung for the mistake he made in the World Cup. Like, come on, man. I come to say this again, like, sport's sport at the end of the day. We got families, we got kids who can read media articles about us, and, like, we're supposed to be okay with that? No, it's going to affect us one way or another. Like, you know?
Yes, I had this chat to your brother when we did the podcast a few years ago, and it's, you know, people that are getting mad at him online, it's like, how does it impact their life in any like way, shape or form? Like it doesn't. It feels like you're angry about something that doesn't concern you at all. And I had even greater understanding of that once he explained his circumstances and his reasons for, you know, making that poor decision. But it's like, seriously, does anyone else care that much? Like, to send a hateful DM to a stranger? It's like, come on.
So, yeah, I got to foresee all that led to his, you know, his lifestyle changing, his, you know, bad partner. Like, I foresaw all that. And, man, it was bad. Like, it was bad. And then he had some bad influences around him. And, yeah, I never imagined it would lead to where it led to. But yeah, the way people responded, I know New Zealand's this proud, small country that, you know, has this, you know, talent pool that very few make it, and he is one of them. And, you know, I don't know if they're embarrassed or they just went over the top in the sense of, you know, how people reacted to that. But yeah, it doesn't actually affect their household.
Yeah, well, you've got a guy that's thrown everything he knows away, right? Like, you were there the same day. You moved to Kenya when you were 16, 17. You had this whole career. Then you get a 10-year ban, which means everything you've known is over. It's like, that's the time where people should be rallying around someone, not sending them a message. Bear in mind they don't even know them, saying, oh, you're a piece of shit. You should. Yeah, so it's disgusting.
So, you know, where it got me is the people that know us, and they know him, like, and they were messaging him during that bad time, negative things, like pushing him off the edge. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, I get it that they haven't been successful, like, to that certain top tier in the sport. They've been successful, but it really blew my mind, man.
Hey, have you had any therapy or anything?
Nah.
No? How have you got through this?
My son, man. Yeah.
Just holding on to hope, eh?
Yeah, blocking, I've always been, like I said, from a young age, good at blocking stuff, but I go through phases still. Some weeks I feel like I beat it, and then other weeks something hits me and it's like, just, you're riding waves, and I don't know if I'll fully ever get over this, but I got to do the best I can right now, and looked forward to what I got going for me, and my son's always going to be there. Yeah, I mean,
what's the relationship like with Zane now? How often do you guys see each other? Is everything all good?
Yeah, so I haven't seen him for quite some time. Like I said, we're just in different stages of our lives.
This isn't a rift because of the band thing, eh? You were on different paths prior to that.
Completely nothing to do with that at all. And completely nothing to do with his other court cases and all that. I know New Zealand wrote some terrible articles. In fact, one that he should actually sue for defacement, because it was completely false. What they wrote. But it has nothing to do with that. I've just been through a lot for him. I had to drop everything a number of times to run around, drop my training and just try and save him. And sometimes I think, I feel unappreciated for everything I've had to do and, what I've sacrificed. But generally now it's just, we're at different stages and different places in our lives. So we're okay, but we're not hating, we're not loving together all the time. Yeah. So
you're not sharing a mattress on the floor together at the moment.
Yeah, man. And
so you'll always be brothers, but can you be friends again?
Yeah. So in a way, I'm sick of defending him, but what are you supposed to do? Like I said, I saw everything that happened that led to his bad decisions, and I don't fully blame him, man. It's like it was really hard.
I don't think you can empathise or understand until you've been in someone else's shoes, eh?
Yeah, and I mean, I've heard multiple people, even, what you just quoted, like Kipchoge said that, man. Elliot said, we can't judge him because we don't know what he went through.
Yeah, it's one thing I've got from this podcast. Yeah. Everyone's dealing with shit, and you don't know what someone else is going through or has been through.
Yeah.
If your career ended tomorrow, what regrets would you have, if any?
Certain maybe tactical areas where I could have won races that I should have.
Really, do races where you didn't reach your perceived potential still keep you awake at night?
No, we have to move on from those because there's always another race coming. But we learn from them. I'd probably have to say not signing big contracts where I could have when I could have. When Essex started their climb again, they wanted me as their number one guy. Back when they were just starting to invest in this new shoe technology, and I was afraid at the time because Nike already had amazing technology. Everybody else is playing catch up, and I ended up not signing and re-signing with Nike, and now seeing how hard they have gone and how good their shoe technology is, I wish I'd have been more of a part of that. I was secretly giving a lot of information to some people involved with giving the information to Asics. I was like, hey man, that shoe needs more like stability in the heel, and I'm pretty good with that stuff, so I was trying to help out, level the game up,
But you've devoted your entire adult life to the sport. Have you done okay out of it? Like, if it all ended today, like, are you, like, financially, are you secure? You got a place in Kenya, eh?
Well, yeah, I built my house. I have some guest houses next door that occasionally have some elite foreign athletes come through. But financially, no, I'd probably have to work. My wife's killing it at the moment, man. So that's how we're surviving at the moment. Like, my wife left her agent, and that allowed me to take over her her coaching again. And she just, to be part of such a big group, you cannot individualize the training. So as soon as I individualized her training, she took off again and has become a superstar. She PB'd and was 2:18 marathoner, 4th in Tokyo since I took over her coaching. So mightily proud of that.
Oh, I bet. Jeez, that's 218's amazing.
Yeah, she's currently with Asics, and
does she have a world ranking?
Yeah, she does. I think she's around top 20.
Damn.
Still. So
amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible. How do you define success now? And has it changed over the years?
Well, like I said, I'm incredibly proud of what my wife's doing, and that I have the coaching input right back, to everything she does in the gym and everything, the small things. But at the end of the day, it's up to her to take to them and really discipline herself. And I find so much joy and pride in that. For myself, I really want to get back out there and do something that I'm proud of. And
like in terms of running? In
terms of my own running, I believe I have so much more to give. I'm just waiting for opportunities, and I'd like to sign a deal again that would keep me going for a couple years, but who knows if it will happen or not. I'm not saying I'll be running for 5 years more. I'm not saying I won't be.
Because how old are you now?
I'm 35.
Right, okay. So that's still fairly young on the big scheme of marathon running, isn't it? How old's Kipchoge? Is he like 50?
Especially in the marathon circuit.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Your good marathon years could still potentially be ahead of you.
Yeah, so, for most sports it's considered pretty old, but in our sport it's considered young. And, I'd love to set the national record, take that one back from my own, and, have something really to be proud of again.
And if you got told tomorrow you could never run again, who would you be without it?
Like, how would I be?
No, who would you be? Like, if you're not Jake Robertson, the runner.
So I'll still be Jake Robertson Sr., father to Jake Robertson Jr., and, devoted husband, coach to my wife as well. I would, because I need to be in Kenya for my family, I would be there for them. And, I'd be trying to network my way into finding a role when we do move, which we're trying to plan a move in the next couple of years for my son's sake, back to New Zealand. It's not cheap here, man. That's for sure. So, looking to find a good job that can allow me to be passionate and give, the work ethic that I have and make a difference somewhere.
Yeah, when your wife and son are in New Zealand, how do they find it? Like, in terms of people staring at them, or any sort of negativity or racism or anything like that, or are people really kind and good?
My son doesn't copy any of that. My son's full on, man. He loves it because there was so much for him to do here, like catching waves at the beach. Loved it. You know, playgrounds and my mother's kindergarten in Hamilton. And, you know, kindergarten here in Kenya is way different. So much for him to do here. And he had a great time. My wife, she loves New Zealand too. Like, you know, New Zealand, I don't think Kiwis like appreciate the beaches that they have. Like every time we come, we're trying to hit the summertime because we want to maximize the beach. You know, I was a surfer pastime, so I still love to surf sometimes. You know. But yeah, like New Zealand's pretty beautiful. Yeah, pretty good place.
I love that.
Lots of family and friends here too. So
yeah. Is there anything you think people misunderstand about you? I kind of feel like you and your brother have always sort of been, I don't know, you've always had this sort of thing where people have sort of misunderstood you. I don't know, is that a fair thing to say?
Yeah, well, I'll speak on my behalf, like...
Yeah, sorry, I just did that thing where I lumped you in together.
Yeah, like, I mean... I can speak for all athletes, actually, because I've just watched David Beckham, I've just watched Aaron Rodgers, I just watched, you know, so many sporting documentaries, and a lot of us come from, like, secluding ourselves at a young age, working our asses off, like, to get to the stage where we're successful in sport. And then, you know, what happens post that, some are more outgoing, some are still... you know, still like that silence. And I mean, the quieter you are, and the more misunderstood you're going to be. I had a pretty good social media at one stage, and you always got to put out the positives, and you always got to put out what's real and what's not. And I mean, people think they know you off your social media, but generally, it's not everything.
It's curated.
You know, it is a side of showing the glamorous life and like it's go time in the morning, you know, all this, but they don't see how much work we put in, how painful it is. And like I can guarantee there's not a single professional athlete in any sport in the world that hasn't cried because of pain, emotionally or mentally, in the gym. Just when they're doing like that one extra rep, and after they've, you know, come out of that emotion that they're there, that they don't stop and go back to the house. They continue to put it in after they've had that meltdown. They go even harder than they were going before that. Like there's not a single one.
Yeah, I don't think we can adequately describe the sacrifices that you've made for the sport. You know, I think we painted a bit of a picture of what, you know, Kenya was like when you moved over there at a very, very young age. But the sacrifice and the work that you've put in is massive. What do you think? What would you say your best and worst habits are?
My worst habit might be like, also in some ways my best habit.
That's often the way.
I'm kind of like a yes guy. I always try and please everybody. And as time goes, I try my best to not always please everybody because it means that I can't keep up and I end up making more mistakes. So yeah, I'm always there for everybody, trying to be. And my best habit is just like work ethic, man. If I set my mind to something, I'm working like in every single way possible to do the best I can.
Yeah, that's one massive takeaway I've got from all these podcasts that I've done. Like, hard work is the only cheat code there is. You know, natural talent will get you so far, but everyone that's had any sort of success in their life, it's come through hard work. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, the athlete's mind state, we're not normal people, man. Like, we made ourselves not normal. Like, at the end of the day, it's sport, but it feels like life to us. So when we fail, we walk away with this feeling like we're going to die or the world is over. and usually as you become more professional, and years go by that you're in the sport, you recover quicker from it. You don't have that time to be upset, so you give yourself that little grief and grieving time, and you bounce back, and you're like, I'm going to use this as positive and work harder. So
yeah. You've been really open and vulnerable here today. Are you like this in your private life? Like, are you good at like opening up and talking to friends or family about shit that's going on, or do you tend to sort of bottle things up?
Oh man, I bottle things up pretty bad until I break, and then my wife sees a lot of it, and
So you're good at sharing stuff, or she can just tell that you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders?
I'm not good at sharing stuff or showing. Really, I bottle it up, and I'll be breaking in other ways. So it's like even my wife can't catch why I'm starting to snap. But yeah, the underlying issues and stuff, it always comes out eventually. And every time afterwards, I seem to keep going. I'm still here, man. So.
Well, you're a Kiwi male. It's one thing we're very good at, bottling things up, not talking about things until we get on a podcast.
Yeah.
It's rough. Have you and I asked you before about counselling or therapy, and you haven't had any. But what about sports? Even a sports psychologist or anything like that?
No.
Maybe talking to someone would be a.
Yeah. So Athletics New Zealand don't help me. They haven't helped me since Boston Marathon. Which year was that I ran Boston Marathon? I think it was 2021. Yeah, 2021. Of course, because my son was born in the last month before it. So yeah, I haven't had any support that would allow me access to that. I reached out to them at one point saying, hey man, I'm not doing too good. Nike's dropped me. I have no money. Athletics New Zealand is not supporting me anymore, anyway. But, they didn't suggest anything or try and help. They just left me to the wind, and that's kind of why I have maybe this feeling towards them. You can't just leave athletes whether they see you useful or not to them anymore, they just leave you like that. So
more of a duty of care.
I mean, even for post-career, man, they should be trying to help. And I know they have that there, but to help people, but for some of us, they just shut down before our career's over, and I don't think it's fair for me anyway.
How are you today? Is today a happy day? Is today good? Are you good today?
I was excited to meet you, man.
Well, yeah.
I really
Oh, likewise.
We've had chats, and like I said, I feel like I know you from all the time. We've just spent messaging each other or seeing you on the podcast, listening to you on the radio. And I was excited to do this. I didn't know where it was going to go, which direction. I knew it would drag up some pretty bad feelings I have had, but I'm pretty pumped about how I had the opportunity to do this still.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been a really enjoyable chat. Is there anything that we've overlooked? Any stone that we haven't unturned? Oh, there's probably heaps. Save it for the book.
Yeah, I mean, future more than past. Past always digs up negativity, and going forward, I'm more positive.
Yeah, okay, future goals. Where do you see yourself at, say, 40 or 50?
Hopefully I'm back here with my wife and son, and, my wife is still striving in sport. I probably, if I haven't signed a nice deal myself, then I'll hopefully have a career that I'm passionate about. And, for my son, everyone's like, oh, he's going to be so fast. I'm like, man, fast can be in any sport if he wants to take to sport. Yeah.
He does have good genetics, though.
Yeah.
Should he decide to become a runner? Not that we want to push him in that direction.
You know what I keep telling people is any other sport than running. Any other sport than running, because I know how hard this sport is. And the payoff isn't like other sports. So, you know, if he takes to something, I'm going to do everything in my power to help him succeed at what he wants to do. And it's not just sport, man. It's like everything, you know.
I reckon a gentle nudge towards, say, golf or yachting. They seem quite lucrative.
Golf
sports.
is a good one. Tennis is a good one. Hey, man, I got a long list.
Yeah, Formula One, perhaps.
I was going there.
Okay, 3 words that family and friends would use to describe you.
Gee, man, you better ask them.
Oh no, okay.
People would put crazy down, probably.
Okay.
Crazy.
No, okay. Well, let's reframe this, but it feels like a bit of a bleak way of reframing it. But I had this guy on the podcast called Dougal Allen, who's like a multi-sport athlete, and then won coast to coast a few times. And he's been part of Team New Zealand that won the America's Cup, and he was doing an adventure race with Richie McCaw. And in the middle of the night, Richie McCaw started playing a game with his teammates, and he said, "Okay, I want everyone to come up with 3 words that you'd like family and friends to use at your funeral." Which seems like a bit of a bleak way of framing it, but I asked this question to a lot of guests because I've figured out it's actually a good way. If you can come up with the answer that you want, then you can sort of reverse engineer it and start living that way so that it's likely to be the words that people will use when that time comes.
Yes.
So what would it be for you?
So everything comes back to, this is the athlete's mindset. Everything straight away starts coming back to me about, you know, who or my profession, you know, rather than who I am. But I am hardworking. I am loving and caring. You know, I'm so many things outside this sport, more than an athlete. You know, but yeah, I'm street smart. I'm wise. Like, you know, I might not be school smart, but definitely I made good decisions, you know. I've never had the kind of money that other athletes have had, but I've invested all my money into my business and stuff, like my house, everything. And I could have gone on vacations and, you know, had parties and all that with it. So streetwise or, you know, wise, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, come on. If it's your funeral and Maggie's there and your mum's there, they're not saying streetwise.
Yeah, for sure.
What are they saying?
So,
what is it, sensitive, kind?
No,
You are sensitive, eh?
They would be saying how I was a fun dad, for sure. You know, my son calls me Papa, but with the adventures we go on, you know, I need to put myself in his shoes and think, what does he want to do today? You know, and yeah, I'm a loving father, man. I'm a good husband. I'll leave that to her to say, a great husband. But yeah.
Yeah. Are you proud of yourself?
Yeah, I am. It's, you know, it's tough to say, man, because us professional athletes, our mindset is always that we're not perfect, and that's what keeps us going. It keeps us striving for more, and yeah. So at the end of the day, most of us are gonna say, "Yeah, I'm proud of myself," but we're far from perfect, and that's what keeps us going.
Yeah. Well, nobody's perfect, eh? I suppose all we can try and do is be better today than what we were yesterday.
Yeah, except in a lot of things in life, you know, it's harder to do. It's not just a one-day turnaround, you know.
Yeah, some days it might be 2 steps backwards, and it's never linear, these things.
It's a long-term picture, you know.
Yeah, but if you wake up each day and try and do better than the day before, I think you're sort of on the right track.
Yeah.
Last one, what about legacy? How would you like to be remembered in the sport and as a person?
Yeah, so someone who, you know, put it all on the line and was successful, you know. I don't have that Olympic gold medal. I don't have, and I may never get that, but I've had success to a certain degree, and you know, I am having success in life now with, you know, a great family. I want to be remembered for being that guy who was, you know, a teenager who didn't have things going his own way. And I mean, it's the same story with a lot of sportsmen. You know, they went through hardships and they came out better off than they were because they put it all on the line. It's not easy to get into professional sport. And then to have any success at any level. So I am successful. I want to be more. But yeah, I want to be remembered as a great father, man. It's a big thing for me, and you know, me and my wife, we have a great relationship. Yeah. So even post my son going to college or wherever he goes, you know, me and my wife, we're going to always be together. I don't see us folding like other relationships have around me in my life. So yeah.
It's nice seeing that smile and that twinkle in your eye when you talk about your wife and your son. It's really cool. I think this is a good way to end it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, man, my boy, like I said, he saved me so many times, man. I could never follow through with any crazy thoughts I'd had, but just because he's there. Yeah.
I suppose to repay him, all you can do is you be the best version of yourself and be the best dad you can be, which it sounds like you're doing.
Yeah, I try, you know. Again, we always have doubts, you know, especially as men. They test your patience, you know, definitely. They push your buttons, but yeah, it's we just do the best we can, right? We learn we learn as we go. Yeah.
Well, we've been going for 2 hours and 27 minutes, which is you could have just about run a marathon in this time.
Yeah, I've actually run a few in 2:10, so yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Jake Robertson, it's nice to finally meet you and connect, and thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Pleasure, man.
Really
Absolute
appreciate
pleasure.
it.